You are listening to the Aging Starts Now podcast, where it's all about responding with confidence to the legal, financial, and personal challenges created by a disability, unexpected illness, or aging in general. Join us weekly as elder law attorneys Barbara McGinnis and Chris Johnson, along with other members of the Johnson McGinnis Elder Care Law and Estate Planning team, talk about the tools, techniques, strategies, and services that will make the elder care journey easier for everyone involved. Get ready, because aging starts now.
Welcome to Aging Starts Now. I'm Debra King, an Elder Care Coordinator at Johnson McGinnis Elder Care Law and Estate Planning. Today we're talking about a critical and often overwhelming journey that many families face, navigating dementia care. We're joined by Keita Cole, a representative of the Tennessee Dementia Navigator Program, a service that helps individuals living with dementia and their caregivers find the resources and guidance and support that they need. If you or someone you love is affected by dementia, this episode is for you. We'll explore what the program offers, who it helps, and how it's making a real difference for families across Tennessee. And let's get started. Welcome, Keita. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Deborah. Thanks for having me.
So let's just start out. How and why was the Dementia Navigator Program created in Tennessee?
So with this program, this was a grant opportunity that came from the federal government. It is called the Alzheimer's Disease Program Initiative Grant. And within the scope of the grant, it was how to reduce stigma around dementia care, encourage more people to reach out and ask for assistance. So I work for the Tennessee Department of Disability and Aging, and we really wanted to focus on the impact that Alzheimer's disease and dementia has on our older adults. So when I started reading the grant, I had the idea that a lot of people, when they get this diagnosis, they just have no clue where to start. It's usually very overwhelming, and they're just kind of like, what next? So I researched other states. The state of Wisconsin had a great program. They were called Dementia Care Specialists. I researched it and took parts of their program and implemented it and rewrote it and recreated it to develop this Dementia Navigator program for Tennessee.
Wonderful. You are totally correct. We see that even in our practice where families get the diagnosis and they think they know something or they'll read some things, but they just don't know what the whole journey looks like. So
absolutely. It's very, and even if they don't have the official quote unquote diagnosis, because it's so hard to get an actual diagnosis. Mm-hmm. A lot of times families are just like, I think my loved one has got something going on. I don't even know where to start. I don't know what questions to ask. And so, with our aging population, we're seeing more and more, we call them the sandwich generation. So the children, they're caring for their parent, but they're also caring for their kids. And we're just at a loss. And so I was just kind of like, there's a need there. We've got to fill this gap on giving them these resources and being that person that they can reach out to ask questions.
So what kinds of services do you provide?
So what we do, if there is a question or somebody has information, our navigators are essentially that point of contact for the family that they can ask questions to. We do an intake screen, so we ask questions to learn about the person living with the diagnosis and the caregiver and kind of figure out what they're needing. Do they need resources? Do they need help with long-term care planning? Do they need help with questions to ask for the doctor? Do they need respite services? Whatever that might be. And then we try to connect them to those resources in the community. So again, it's very individualized, very person-centered. The caregiver and care receiver is what drives each referral. And we start with what they need. And then we're also just that voice, that calming voice to give them tips, to give them tricks, to be, hey, this is going on. Is this normal? Is this not? And then on the flip side of that, we also offer education around dementia. So we have 3 different educational programs that we offer. It's Dementia 101. So what is it? How do I prevent it? What are signs and symptoms? Then we have one about brain health. So that talks about nutrition and brain health and what foods we can eat to help slow down the aging process in our brain. And then we have dementia in the intellectual and developmental disability population. So when we've got somebody that is living with an intellectual or developmental disability, and then we add memory issues or cognitive issues on top of it, it can be overwhelming. So we have a whole educational series around that as well. So we offer these to community members, we offer them to individuals, we offer them to professionals, all free of charge, whatever they might need to get that education and awareness out there.
How many dementia navigators do you have?
So currently, right now, under the grant, we have 3, so not enough. So it is myself, and I have 2 others that work with me. We do cover the state, so regardless of where you are in the state, we can assist. We travel a lot. I'm on the road a lot. But so this grant, the funding is there for us, and then we are working with state legislation to get additional funding to continue not only the work we're doing, but to also add more navigators into the program. So we work with our regional offices. So we have area agencies on aging and disability across the state. We have 9 of them. And so I have worked to train staff in those offices on things to look for and, tips and tricks and things. And so they're there. They can help with some of it, but then the most of it, they send back up here to Nashville to me and the other 2 that work with me. And then we kind of go from there and start with a phone call. And then if we email them or if we mail it to them, or then if we need to go meet in person, we kind of, again, it's each referral is driven its own way.
Amazing. That's a big job because, that's kind of what we do in our practice as the care coordinators as well, is figure out what they need and then help them develop a plan. Yep. What kinds of challenges do you see families coming to you with?
Most of the time it is support and understanding. So there's typically one primary caregiver. What we have seen the most of the referrals we've gotten so far, it is a biological child that is caring for a parent. We've had a few spouses caring for, their husband or wife, but the majority of the referrals we've gotten have been from biological children. And so they understanding what's happening. I had a phone call yesterday with a lady that her mom is having a lot of behavioral outbursts, and there's younger children in the home. And so they were concerned and they're worried, and they just didn't understand that, she's trying to communicate something. We've got to figure out what she's communicating. So a lot of understanding of what's happening, the disease process, why is it happening the way it's happening? And then a lot of them are just needing help with respite services. So having somebody relieve them so they can do what they need to do. So either come in and stay with them for a few hours, or they go to a facility for respite for a few days, whatever that looks like. So those are the 2 biggest challenges. And then just planning for the future. Like what do we need to expect? What do we need to plan for? What's going to happen? What are the decisions I need to make and things like that?
Does your program pay for those direct services, or is it more finding the resources in the community?
So we try to find resources that don't require a fee. So we try to connect them to resources. So with respite, through the Department of Disability and Aging, we have the Tennessee Respite Coalition. We work with them, and there's grant services that are there. So we try to connect them to those grants. We also have other services that help pay for home and community-based care. So we try to connect to that. We do not directly pay for the services if they needed a respite and they don't have it, but we try to connect them to grants or, waivers or anything like that to help ease the burden. Our services as dementia navigators are 100% free. It costs them nothing for us to, and if we need to have an interaction with them every week, if I need to travel to them, if I need to provide them with whatever that might be, it costs them nothing to utilize our service.
So typically, would you say the individuals are calling maybe the area agency on aging with these questions, and then they're referring it to the navigators for assistance with the coordination piece of it?
Yeah, so we've gotten a lot of referrals through our area agencies on aging. We're also out doing outreach and education with medical providers. And, elder law attorneys and individuals like that to let them know that, this service is here, it's free. And And then we're getting referrals from a wide range. Most of them have come from the local offices, but a lot of them, they've heard about us at a presentation. We were at a senior center talking about it. They know somebody in their church. They send our information to them. Hey, we need help. Where do we start? So depending on where we get the referral from, if it comes from the area agency, obviously we know they've been screened for those services. So I'm not going to turn around and send them back there. I'm going to work on other services while they're waiting to get those services through the area agency. So again, depending on where that referral comes from is going to depend on what approach we go with it at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So getting the word out is key to making this program successful.
Absolutely. Just letting people know
it's there.
Letting people know it is there 100%. Because a lot of times, and again, when we're out doing these education, I've been fortunate enough to be able to do a lot of the Dementia 101 trainings. And we hear people, I've had a lot of people give me feedback and they're like, I wish I knew this when I was caring for my mom. I'm so glad you're out here doing this. This is a much needed service. And so giving them those tips and those tricks and those things to look for, that makes the world of difference. That helps ease that burden for them not to feel like they're alone. And then also just encouraging caregivers to reach out. Like, you're not alone in this. You're doing a great job. You're asking for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. That's what these resources are for. So making sure that they understand, just encouraging them. A lot of times that's all we need as a caregiver. We just need somebody to be like, hey, you're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. And then that just kind of refills our cup. And so to be able to be that person for somebody that's dealing with so much is what we enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is there a time frame how long you follow a family? Because I could see this could be a long-term kind of support, or do you try to hand them off then at some point and just remain available?
We kind of let the family guide it. We ask them, do you want us to call you monthly? Do you want to check in weekly? Are you good with the resources we've got? Do you want to reach back out to us? We kind of let them guide it. Mm-hmm. It's been a mixed bag of things. Some of them have been like, yeah, check back up with me in a week. Some of them have gotten information, from us. And then we follow up and be like, did you call this referral? Did it work? Do you need help with it? Do you need us to help you fill out paperwork, understanding things, whatever that might be? We don't have a set time frame on it. Mm-hmm. It's really, again, what the family might need. One of the resources that I developed that we utilize a lot is, I call it our memory lane guide. So it's the memory lane. We're walking down memory lane. And it's a guide that is a checklist. It is, what can I expect? What are things I need to have in place? What long-term planning means? Do I have this? Do we have home safety? What medications are we on? Who all is in our care team? What's the routine? It's a book it's a binder. Mm-hmm. And we individualize it to each family, but we give them this, and then again, it's free to them, doesn't cost them anything. We encourage them to carry it with them to the doctor's office. It's got worksheets in there, like what were their capabilities before, what are their capabilities now, because we want to focus on their abilities and not their disabilities. Mm-hmm. So we encourage them to write it down. That way, if there's another caregiver that comes in, everything is in one spot. So one of the things with that memory lane guide is we work with the families and we meet with them and we're like, okay, here's where we are. Here's this information. Here's some resources. We're going to call you in 2 or 3 weeks. We're going to see what worked for you, what didn't work for you. Do we need to pivot? Have we had so maybe we started with just questions and now we're seeing more behaviors. All right, so let's figure out what these behaviors are. When are they happening different? So we call those our stepping stones. So on our memory lane guide, we have our stepping stones to try to identify what is the burden, the immediate burden for that caregiver. So again, it's very individualized for each person. No two are alike. Mm-hmm.
So how long has this program been in existence?
So we received the grant in 2024. Uh-huh. And about the time we got the grant, we were transitioning from the Commission on Aging into being part of the Department of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities. So now we're the Department of Disability and Aging. So things got a little delayed during the transition just because everything had to switch over and paperwork and all those fun things. So we officially began implementation in February of 25.
Okay.
And we have the grant until September of 27. And then we're hoping after that we have state funding to help carry it on and continue it. But a lot of the things that we have implemented with the grant essentially could be carried out within the local regional offices without a cost to it, because we've already created everything. We've, doing all the trainings and all of that stuff. So even if there's not continued funding, which we hope there will be, but if there's not, the resources and the foundation has been laid. So those resources can be shared and be there. It just may not be as hands-on as it currently is with the dedicated funding to it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's definitely a program that's needed across the state. Urban people, even people in urban areas where all the resources are, don't know what's there because they haven't needed them before.
Exactly.
Give me an idea how many people you've seen in the first 6 months then.
So, caregivers and care receivers that we have made contact with and have provided resources for, we're a little over 70. Which I think is pretty good considering we had to get the word out about it. Education and training. We've provided education and training to over 1,000 individuals statewide. And then outreach, we have provided outreach and education to right at 2,600 people statewide.
So you have been busy.
Yes, ma'am. This is a rare day that I'm in the office in Nashville. So.
This is a phenomenal program, and I hope our listeners appreciate that. How would people get in touch with the program if they're hearing it on Aging Starts Now? Can they just call somewhere, or do they have to go through the area agency?
No, ma'am, they don't have to go through the area agency. They can reach out to me directly, and my phone number is 615-347-6890. Again, 615-347-6890. They can go to the Department of Disability and Aging's website. So just Google Tennessee Department of Disability and Aging. And you can go to the website, and there is a tab that says resources, and then there's an Alzheimer's disease. And there's a link you can email. The email address is D as in dog, so DDA. I think it's... Look, I'm going to tell you wrong on here. Let me fix this. Here's how we can edit out. I tell you what, I'll just give them my email address. They can email me. So it's Keita, KEITA .COLE@tn.gov. So they can call me, they can email me, they can find us on the DDA website, and just let you know. I'll probably call or email them back and be like, what are we looking at? And get some basic information, and then we'll just go from there.
And I Googled just the Dementia Navigator Program in Tennessee and got the FAQ page. So I think there's a lot of information if people are looking to get some help.
Right. So there's also, the Tennessee Department of Health, they also have a Dementia Navigator Program. So we do the same thing with the Department of Health. They have some of their navigators are within local health departments. We have worked together to curate the resources, so they're the same. So if you get it through us at the Department of Disability and Aging, or you get it through the Department of Health, you're essentially getting the same information. So either one of us will get you to where you need to be. I do know with health, a lot of their navigators may be confined to certain counties, and I'm not really sure what all counties they're in right now, because they do work out of the local health departments. With us at the Department of Disability and Aging, we're statewide. So it does not matter to me what county you live in. I just need your information. And like I said, we will travel and come to you. I have one navigator in the Upper Cumberland region that lives there. So she covers most of that area. But then myself and the second one that I have, we cover the state. So
Okay.
So there is another option. You can get it. Again, we essentially both do the same thing. We're both funded through different grants. We both had the same idea, and just, after the fact, we were like, hey, let's work together. So the resources are out there.
Perfect. Great.
So if they see it and it says Department of Health, that's fine. Just as long as you get the service. It does not matter to me if you go through me or go through the Department of Health, as long as the services are there and you get what you need. So
let's get the information out there and get people educated and get the resources that people need, because we know typically the treatment for dementia is care and services.
Yep. I like to say that we cannot add years to someone's life, but we can add life to the years that they have left. So maintaining that quality of life, not only for the care receiver, but also for the caregiver, that's my ultimate goal. So making sure that caregiver is supported so they can care for their loved one. It's not a disease that's fun. It's not a disease that we want to talk about, but it is a disease. And so family members, understanding that it is not their loved one that is being difficult. It is the disease that is causing this. And so just like we're comfortable talking about cancer and different things, I want us to become comfortable talking about dementia so people don't feel so isolated.
I can tell you're very passionate about this, Keita, and I'm so glad we had you on the show today. I want to thank our listeners for joining us for this important conversation about the Tennessee Dementia Navigator Program. We hope today's episode sheds light on the support that's available for individuals and families navigating the challenges of dementia. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone who might benefit. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories and resources from across our community. Johnson McGinnis Elder Care Law and Estate Planning is a life care planning law firm helping families figure out the financial, legal, and health challenges that often come with aging. Join us next week for another episode of Aging Starts Now.
Thank you for listening to the Aging Starts Now podcast. For more information about today's show, visit tn-elderlaw.com, click on the Free Resources tab, and then click on Aging Starts Now. You'll find the show notes there. And while you're at it, why not check out all the free resources available at tn-elderlaw.com. Document downloads, the Johnson McGinnis blog, educational videos, informative articles, helpful links, a TV show, and more. It's all there, free for the taking. If you enjoy listening to the Aging Starts Now podcast, please subscribe, rate the show, or leave us a review. It's easy to do on whatever app you use to listen. We would love your feedback on the show. Aging Starts Now. We'll be back next week with more candid discussions about the challenges created by aging, disability, and unexpected illness.